So if you ever wondered what exactly caused Sony, Disney, and Marvel Studios to have the fallout over Spider-Man remaining in the MCU or leaving, well, we now have the confirmation it was due to Jon Watts and Fantastic Four. So yeah, you guys probably all recall after Spider-Man Far From Home, we waited like a month and a half all waiting to hear what happens next with Spider-Man, and then we hear he's getting taken out of the MCU because Sony and Marvel and Disney cannot come to a new agreement over what is happening with Spider-Man and his future in the MCU. And then about 6 weeks went by and things were back to normal. We know that Disney is going to put a little bit more money into the production and get some money on the back end. We know Sony is going to get some back-end money from Spider-Man appearances apparently, so things are looking rather good. But still, we were wondering, what exactly is the root of all of these problems and what is happening? Well, now people are reporting it is in fact the recent news we got in regards to the director of the Fantastic Four, Jon Watts. So what is being said is that essentially Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios love what Jon Watts was doing with Spider-Man. They love how he's able to come up with ideas, and when it came to coming up with using more characters, that he kind of just naturally fell into that, sort of like the Russo brothers, and they were looking at him and wanted him and were signing him to do Fantastic Four. Now at the same time, Sony was apparently looking to keep Jon Watts for Spider-Man outside of the MCU once the contract was up. So the two came to sort of I guess blows with one another, and Marvel ended up winning ultimately that Jon Watts would direct the next Fantastic Four, and they've been sitting on that for a while, and Sony decided to say, well, if we can't have him, since we're the ones that are paying him for Spider-Man, even though you guys picked him as the director of the new Spider-Man, we're not going to let you keep Spider-Man. So the two studios came to a standstill, nobody would budge, and then the fallout happened, and then they got back to talking because they saw the fan demand and outcry and everything, and things were able to be worked out. Now it should be interesting to see how this affects the future, because Jon Watts on Fantastic Four, in my opinion, is a great get. But what exactly happens with Spider-Man down the road? What if they come to some sort of agreement where there is more Spider-Man appearances after the third movie, because they know they're gonna keep talking? And how exactly do they use every aspect of what Sony's doing and connect that to the MCU, since that's definitely happening? How much have they hashed out? Is Jon Watts gonna be used between both studios? I mean, there's so many questions to kind of look at here, and we really don't have many answers to really many of them. But at least now we know sort of what caused the battle, and it looks like Fantastic Four was at the center of it, and it makes sense. If you're Sony, you're looking at Jon Watts and you're going, wow, people really like his Spider-Man and we like him. Hey, we want you for our own Spider-Man movies when we take him out of the MCU. And suddenly he tells you, actually, yeah, I already committed to something with them. You'd probably be pissed, right? Because you probably didn't know about it, because they did it without your knowledge, really. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. So how do you guys feel about this, and what do you think they're ultimately going to do with Jon Watts? Do you think Sony's going to be able to get him back to some of their own Spider-Man properties? Because we know those are coming. And what happens with those? Oh, that'll be interesting.